Welcome. My name is Per Schofors and I am the founder and CEO of Atenga. This is the first part of a series of 6 short presentations on price optimization. Each part is about 10 minutes long. What you will learn is how with optimized prices and the process necessary for price optimization, companies can fight commoditization, downward pricing pressure, and increase both sales and profits. This presentation summarizes what we learned from making several hundreds of price optimization projects. But I will start with a short disclaimer. You all in the audience come from different industries, and I'll be talking about price optimization in general terms. And one of the things we hear is that my industry is different. But our experience is quite different, that industries are remarkably similar, while companies are remarkably different. And in our business, we do not work for competing companies, and we therefore have to work across industries. So when I get into examples, please don't be discouraged if they don't match exactly your industry or the industry you have experience with. Think instead, how should this apply to me, to my company, to my circumstance? What can I learn? But enough of the disclaimer, let's go on with the presentation. The problems so many companies are facing are loss of pricing power and commoditization. I will talk about why commoditization happens, what it'll do for your pricing power, and how you as business leaders should look at commoditization and customer loyalty. The solution to commoditization, loss of pricing power, and lack of customer loyalty are not inevitable. They're not inevitable results of running a business. There are always ways for companies to stand out, to gain back pricing power, and at the same time keep customers happier and more loyal. And I will talk about the results you can expect from this process. But let's start by analyzing the problem. In every industry, there is pressure to commoditize. And when industry commoditizes, they stagnate. It occurs in every industry, in every corner of the globe. Profit declined until someone comes along inventive enough or smart enough to disrupt the industry, sweeping aside the players who allow themselves to become commoditized. This move towards commoditization develops at different speeds at different industries. The high-tech industry has the fastest commoditization pace, but other industries commoditize very slowly. So consider that for about 12 years ago, the cell phone industry was highly profitable. Companies like Nokia became global market leaders and made huge profits. Around 7 years ago, that was not longer so. Nokia issued profit warnings, went through a deep restructuring. Motorola sold off its handset division. And then this comes along. The decommoditizer established new levels of performance, new offers of convenience and value, new price points at which they were able to earn superior profits. Now, a disruptor like this, more often than not, comes from outside the industry they disrupt. But they don't have to. There's nothing stopping an incumbent Me Too, to become a new and clear market leader. In fact, it is our role as managers to fight commoditization, find ways where we can stand out, where we can gain pricing power and customer loyalty. The example I gave you was in the high-tech industry, and because the products are familiar. But since commoditization happens in every industry, so does decommoditization. So there's hope. We all have the chance to rise to the occasion, or not. Or if we don't fight back, we've given up. We've accepted to become a commodity. So then, how can companies rise from the sea of commodity and differentiate themselves to gain pricing power? Well, the answer is innovation. In fact, the general rule is that when you price for profits, you get the resources to innovate, and you innovate for growth. But innovation doesn't have to be technical. It can be how you market yourself, how you sell, and what you sell. So, for example, the cost of jet engines used to be a huge impediment to sales until eventually the vendors came up with the idea of charging customers for usage, for every hour the engine is used, as opposed to a huge capital cost. But let's go to a more detailed little case study. We're gonna look at a university where we can clearly see how different value drivers drive different willingness to pay, and how consequently marketing and marketing messages are used to attract buyers with that higher willingness to pay, leading to overall increased revenues. So I said university, and most of us doesn't really see universities as the profit-making businesses there actually are. And in this case, the university wanted to find ways to increase tuition fees. So the topic here is total out-of-pocket cost for a year of education. This is not how your marketplace looked like. Okay? The marketplace, we're all individuals, and we have different value profiles, and we make our buying decisions from different perspective, perceptions, drivers, and constraints. And in this project, we investigated willingness to pay for different customers with different value profiles. And what you will see here is willingness to pay versus how important the population saw three of the decision drivers. On the x-axis, you'll see the importance, and on the y-axis, willingness to pay. And that little arrow indicates current fees, which was about $27,000 per year. The first value driver is location. You can see that individuals saying that location is not important is willing to pay $12,000 for a year of education, while individuals who say location is very important are willing to pay $18,000 for the same education. Athletic reputation drives a willingness to pay between $20,000 and $28,000. And finally, you'll see individuals who care deeply for the academic reputation of the institution are willing to pay a whole lot more. The span here goes from $20,000 for those who say it's not important to $44,000 for those who say it's very important. And this, of course, is why the Harvards of the world can charge much higher tuition fees than community colleges. Drilling deeper into what this really means, we found that academic reputation is really all about return on investment. Buyers believe, or students believe, and probably rightly so, that an exam from a university with an excellent reputation will land them a better job, a higher paid job, and quicker too. All the attributes in red on this slide are really return on investment. And this drove a discussion at the university, strategic conversation. They asked themselves, what is our actual academic performance? And how does our reputation differs from our actual performance? How can we increase the reputation, and how can we increase actual performance? And how can we change messaging to capture a higher degree of students for which academic reputation is most important? And then, of course, we have the $64,000 question. Improving academic reputation takes years. What would the university do in the meantime? So, academic reputation was really return on investment. So, reputation cannot be changed overnight, but activities around return on investment can be done right away. So, the job finding program could be enhanced. There could be messages around better ROI for lower cost education, and as well as messaging around that job finding program. So none of these have anything to do with academic reputation. But for a portion of the marketplace, they would generate the same value, or at least similar value, as academic reputation, similar return on investment, and they would therefore attract a greater number of students with a higher willingness to pay. Long term, of course, only academic reputation will continue to drive growth in the universities, in the university, but this, of course, takes years and years. So the result here was that tuition fees over a 2-year period could increase from 27,500 to 32,500. Only over 2 years and with almost no drop in number of students. Quite remarkable. But let's summarize what we talked about so far today. We said that commoditization forces are while commoditization forces are inevitable, commoditization are not. And you can choose to fight back or not. The marketplace are never homogeneous, and you can leverage your insight into the differentiators in the marketplace to gain pricing power. Sometimes by much, sometimes by little. And the way to decommoditize is to know what segments are willing to pay more, how much more, and most importantly, for what. Thank you very much for your time today. In the next part of your series, we'll be talking about how companies, and customer interactions affects willingness to pay. See you then. Bye.